Hello there, everybody, and thanks for joining us today. This is the second webinar in a series that we're putting together. We're hoping that as people are spending a little more time out of their normal business activities, that we can help a little by providing some information and education during this difficult time in the world. So on Tuesday, we had a successful webinar regarding SmartTap. And today we'd like to talk a little bit about the new opportunities that come along with our new self-install pump. So we've got a few more people joining as I'm speaking now. I'll do a short introduction while the rest of our colleagues join, and then we'll start the content in a few more minutes. Good, so to introduce you to the technology that we're using today, we're using the GoToWebinar interface. So everybody on the webinar is on mute. We have, approaching 100 people, so trying to have a conversation with 100 people two ways is quite difficult. But what I'd ask you all to do is you should see on your GoToWebinar panel a little questions box. So if you have any questions as we're going through the webinar, please enter the questions there. We'll be able to see them real time. If possible, I'll answer those as I'm talking. If not, we'll have a Q&A session at the end of the webinar. So maybe I'll talk for 30 minutes, 35 minutes, and then we have time for plenty of questions at the end. So if there's any of your colleagues that aren't available today and you think the content's interesting for them, this will all be recorded. You'll get a link as an attendee tomorrow. If any of your colleagues registered but couldn't attend today, they'll also get a link to the webinar. And we'll also be putting the webinar content onto PartnerNet, so you can listen to this again if you miss anything or have any technology challenges today. So let's go ahead, and if you excuse me for a few minutes, I'd like to just remind everybody about LORENTZ's normal go-to-market model. And this is something that we're very proud of and have strictly adhered to for a long time, that our go-to-market model is always through our partners. So this means that we never do direct sales to end customers, and we focus our activities on the things we're good at: designing, engineering, manufacturing products, and supporting our partner channel. So this means that everything we're doing in terms of designing products, designing the tools, designing the information, things like PartnerNet, Compass, Pump Scanner, are all designed about enabling our professional channel to do a great job. We have a fantastic training program. We train thousands of people through this, and we're really focusing our own internal activities on supporting the partners. We obviously, of course, do some sales activity with our partners, but again, must emphasize our business model is always selling via our partners to market. We're never doing any direct sales. And this is really quite different to many other organizations that run a hybrid channel model, where they're doing some direct sales, some indirect sales, and this often causes channel conflict. So this is where we've been, and we've been here for a long time, and this is where we intend to stay. So we don't have any plans to change that, if anyone's worried. But I just wanted to remind you where we are today. So if you indulge me as a marketeer for a moment, just to talk a little bit about the solar pumping market. And I have a nice big blue box here, which looks at what the market is at the moment. And I would always define our market for solar water pumps is anybody in the world that wants to pump water where they don't have cheap grid power. And the only reason not to buy a solar pump is if you've got extremely reliable and cheap grid power. Otherwise, you should use a solar pump. So we have a very big market across the world available to all of us to sell products into. And if we think about the markets that we specifically address at the moment, agriculture is the biggest one. So irrigation is the biggest market opportunity for solar pumps. And of course, that broadly fits into two areas: people moving from diesel to solar, so where they're using diesel pumps or diesel generators with electric pumps, moving those to solar. Of course, we have lots of farmers that are either starting to need to do irrigation because of changing weather patterns, or their demand for better crop yields is meaning that they start to do irrigation. So, of course, a lot of the developing world is not doing so much irrigation, particularly sub-Saharan Africa, not a lot of irrigation, but the demand for increased food yields means that irrigation is starting. So this is a really massively growing business, getting rid of dirty diesel pumps, installing more solar pumps, and extending the amount of ground that is irrigated is all big growth area. Then we look at drinking water, and of course our pumps have for 20 years now been used for drinking water applications, and this can be from one family through villages to towns to even whole cities. And again, you all know of examples of where we have water pumps serving 500,000, 1 million people. So we're talking about fairly big communities being served by solar pumps. And of course, we have cattle and livestock. So if we think about all of the cattle farming around the world, this is one of the first applications that adopted solar pumping. So all of the old windmills, now there's never a decision, should I have a windmill, should I have a solar pump? Every rancher and cattle raiser chooses a solar pump first. So this is a well-established market and understood. But of course, if we think about LORENTZ serving this market really well, and you think about our products from PS150 to PS2-100, so from a 150 watt pump to a 100 kilowatt pump, we really serve a massive amount of this market. And we're doing that through our 5,000 partners around the world. And they're doing this in a very professional way, installing the products, serving the customers. But of course, there is still a gap. There is a gap below the market that we serve. And yeah, this is a market where there are some different requirements. So either customers that need very modest needs in terms of technology, they need small amounts of water, they have very limited budgets, or they simply don't want a professional installation, they want to do it themselves. And if we look at, YouTube's a good example of how people learn to do almost anything today. It's a great education resource. It can also be, of course, a great disaster if you watch the wrong advice. But people are really interested in self-learning, becoming self-sufficient, and doing self-installations of different products. So we've got a few different drivers here that people, want to adapt products themselves. People think they can make everything themselves really well by watching 3 YouTube videos. And so there is a whole market that's trying to, serve themselves with solar water pumps. And to be honest, most of that turns out really badly. Either they're buying very poor quality products, or they're trying to put something together themselves. And I think we all know the kind of products that are being sold there. We see the online marketplaces. Alibaba's great for advertising, everything for $100. You can buy whatever you want there. What arrives when you order it is a different thing. Quality is extremely variable. And I think everyone realizes you really can't buy anything that's good for not a lot of money. This simply doesn't figure. And then we have the local selling on markets, people importing products, selling them in markets and bazaars. And, the example on the right here of the kind of things that are being sold as solar pumps. So people are tending to buy poor efficiency, poor quality products and actually get, a really bad experience of solar pumping. So think about the markets that's serving. We're talking about people, maybe farmers with small amounts of livestock, horses, this kind of thing. We've got the homeowners, we've got the compounds, a family compound that wants water, gardens, and really any small requirement. And then we have smallholder farmers as well. So anybody that really is in the, really tight budgets, they're forced to buy a poor quality product online or from a local seller. So not coming through any kind of professional channel. So what are we missing? What are we missing as Lawrence, and what are we missing as our channel? Really a mass market pump that serves the smaller applications. And this is something we've really been challenged with for maybe eight or 9 years now. And we've looked at this several times to say, could we really bring a product to the market that is low cost, a small product, but actually keeps all of the same quality, reliability that is expected of the Lawrentz name? And the answer to that many times has been no. The entry point for manufacturing such a product for us was too difficult. So we now a year and a half ago did some new development on this product, and we think we've come up with a product now which is really fits the market well, keeps all of the quality that you would expect from us, sets a low entry price, and very importantly for this market, provides a self-installation option for the customer. So of course, with a professional channel and working with professional equipment, there is a cost to doing this. And so what we have is a product now which works for the mass market. So this is called the PS2-100. It's a helical rotor pump. It's built to the same quality and reliability standards as our normal product lines. You can see it looks a little different. It has a pump end made of an engineering polymer, so it's a type of plastic. Don't be put off by this. This is a super strong, super high quality engineering polymer. It has with it a mini controller. So this mini controller is the size of a couple of mobile phones, so it's very small. It comes with 3 different pump ends, which I'll talk about in a moment. So it has options for a HR07, HR14, HR23. So same controller, same motor, but 3 different pump ends. And the idea of giving the 3 different pump end options is that you can serve a wide range of head and flow requirements. The pump is, you can see from its name, typically a 100-watt motor. It will go a little bit above that, and it would typically be powered from a 200-watt peak module. So it's designed to operate from one PV module. Of course, you can put a 250 on it, but we're looking for anything below 50 volts to operate this pump. So 24 to 50 volt operating range is optimum for this pump. And really importantly, the first thing to note here is it's plug and play. So what we have attached to the motor is a cable. There is a plug for the first time on our water pumps, a plug that goes into the motor, so obviously a waterproof plug, with an attached cable that then plugs into the controller. And you can see in the controller here the 3 outlet motor connection. So we then of course have plugs for the PV into it. So from a customer's point of view, there's no wiring. This is very simple to install. You'll also be able to see on the top of the pump, there is a 1-inch pipe spigot. So this allows for a 1-inch hose to be connected without having to have any specialized connectors or anything. So you just can slide a hose over the top, maybe put a pipe clamp on, but it's very simple to install and something that a customer can do anywhere. So let's have a little look at the connections on the controller. So as you would expect, we have an on-off switch, some indicator LEDs that let the customer know what's happening. So again, it's very simple and quite similar to our PS2 controllers. You have a standby when it's switched off. You switch it on, and then it will operate the pump. Switch it off, it switches off the pump. We also have the LED sequences to highlight any problems, such as if there's not enough power, so the customer can see why the pump is not pumping at a particular time. We have then A1 and A2. These are accessory ports. By default, these have a jumper in them, so there's a little jumper plug that comes with this, and we have connections there for a dry run protection, a well probe, and also for a float switch. Again, these are optional things that you add in. And then we have our PV input and our motor cable input. So very simple plug and play system. The optional accessories also have plugs on them. So these are something you sell with the cables on them. There is a plug on the end of that, so this is just plugged in. We also have extension cables for everything. So with the standard cables that are shipped, you can extend them, and they're extended using an extension cable with a special waterproof connector. So again, all of this comes together. It's an off-the-shelf product every time, something that's very easy to stock and sell. So we've got no wiring, no cable splicing to worry about, no specialized connectors for water. So this really does make it something that is very accessible to a wide range of customers. Let's have a little bit of a look at the hydraulics. So I mentioned that there were 3 different pump ends available for this, so 3 different versions, if you like. The HRO7S, again, what I've tried to give you here is a typical performance for a day's water. So if we pick the mid head point on this pump, this will do up to 40 meters or 130 feet of head. But at its midpoint at 20 meters, it will do about 7,000 liters per day. So 7,000 liters per day, 1,850 gallons at that 20 meter head. The second pump end is the HR14S. HR14S will go up to 27 meters or about 90 feet head, and at its midpoint this is going to do about 10,000 liters or 2,600 US gallons per day. And then we have the HR23S. This is a higher flow pump. This is quite capable of doing almost 3 cubic meters an hour. But if we look at a typical day at 9 meters, 30 feet of head, it's going to do 14 cubic meters a day or 4,000 gallons per day. So yeah, this is 3 different pump ends there that give really a good range of options for the smaller customers. You really can serve quite a lot of applications there, from relatively high head. So look at 40, just over 40 meters head on the HRO7. So relatively deep wells, certainly for any hand dug well, very deep. And for many drilled wells in shallower applications, perfectly good. Right through to the HR23S, which serves quite high flow applications. So 15 cubic meters is maybe good for 2 acres of irrigation. This is a really good pump for use in agriculture. Of course, we've chosen a submersible pump for this because it can be used in a pond, it can be used in a river, or it could be used in a borehole. So it's a very robust pump, something that's very flexible in use, and particularly against many of the pumps that are sold in these applications, which tend to be surface pumps. Of course, a submersible pump has lots of advantages in that you don't have to have you don't have any suction problems with it. You don't have to have any suction pipes and then discharge pipes. It's a single pipe, a submerged pump. Doesn't need to be primed, so very convenient to sell and use. Good, so let's look at how easy it is to handle. It comes packaged as a system in a box. So you can see the packaging here. It's a single box, which is 2 feet, 600 millimeters long. So it's a nice compact package. You get inside the pump unit, so the motor and pump end. Those of you with a keen eye here will see a blue pump end. So our first models of this that we've shipped in the last, nearly a year now, have all been blue. but we've actually changed to a black color for future orders, simply because the black is more UV stable. So we source the blue color discolors when it's left out in maybe a shop window for 6 months. It starts to lose some of its color. Doesn't lose any strength, doesn't lose any ability to perform, but the color changes, and this doesn't look like super good quality of Lorentz. So we've moved over to a black colored plastic here because it's better for UV resilience. So yeah, sorry for that slight detour. So we've got this single package. We have the controller in the top left hand side there. Then we have the pump unit. You can see this is all in a nice environmentally friendly pulp packaging. So this is already made of recycled material, and it's a paper packaging. The motor cable is actually connected then to the motor. So the motor cable you can see in the picture below is actually connected. It's been disconnected for the picture here because it was quite difficult to photograph. And then the cable sits on top. There's basically another layer of cardboard, and then the motor cable sits on top. So you've got that motor cable sitting on top, and then the last thing which you can see in the bottom picture is there's an adapter cable to go from MC4, from a standard PV module, to the motor to the controller connection. So this is everything all in a box, very easy to handle, very easy to ship, and the box then has a sleeve that goes around it. So if you want to really sell this in a retail environment, then there is a sleeve that goes around the box. You can customize it. There's a space there for customizing with your own label, adding local information onto there. The packaging is in 3 languages, in English, French and Spanish. You've got space there to add local language or more information. So this really is made for retail, or made for over-the-counter use, made for very simple deployment of systems to customers that you normally wouldn't be able to get sales to. So we see this really as a complementary product to our existing traditional channel business. So let us have a think about that, and think about what we can do with this product. So you saw from my got rather complicated in the end market slide that there is a big chunk of the market that we currently don't address together. And if this means that you have more customers coming to you and asking for a pump solution, and rather turning them away and saying, look, actually, either your budget doesn't allow it, or I don't really have a pump that's small enough, now you can offer them something, and actually you can offer this as a takeaway product. So this is a product that you can offer over the counter as a takeaway. There's some positives for all of us, I think, which is if the customer experiences a good quality, properly designed, very efficient pump system, solar pump system, this really helps them understand that the junk they're buying from Alibaba or from local companies, actually all solar pumps aren't like that. The Lorentz ones are really of exceptional quality and performance. So what they're getting here is a high quality, high performing product, very close to the price points that they're buying really junky products from other places. The other benefit, of course, is if you are selling a good quality product to a customer, it's very likely they recommend you on. It's very likely that they come back to you when they have a bigger application, and you become a full service company to your customers. If you have to turn them away because you haven't got a product small enough, or they insist on self-installation or something else, if you can really offer them something, this means that you've helped them, and they are likely to come back when they want to buy a nice big PSK system or a larger PS system. So the experience they have of both the products and your service, this will really help you to address more customers. And think about the other The other things that are possible here is, you know that if you go and do demonstrations of solar pumps, people are really excited about it. They love to see them, whether this is a farm show or in the local shopping area or a rodeo or all of the different places where I know that you're demonstrating solar pumps. Actually, if there is an option to take one away on the day, this is a good opportunity to make some sales. Even some trade shows, we know we're really asked all the time, have you got one for sale that we could take today? And this is a product that would allow you to do that. Good. So a couple of questions I'll answer before I move on to my last few slides. So a couple of questions have come in asking about the technology that's used in the pump system. So we have a couple of things to talk about. So the EC drive that we use here is the same design as you would see across the whole of our PS2 range. So this means it's a DC brushless motor. It's a permanent magnet motor, of course. It has the same resin casting. It has the same components inside. Of course, some of them are slightly downscaled, like magnet size and things is downscaled for the lower motor power. But the quality, reliability, and very, very importantly, the superb efficiency that we're renowned for remains the same in this product. If we then move on to the controller, yes, the controller is now tiny. So this is now a super mini controller. It removes, of course, a lot of the inputs and outputs that we have on our PS2 range. So things like the software integration with Pump Scanner isn't in this product. This is a product without Pump Scanner. So you can't have things like speed controls, you can't have timers and all of these other functions that you would have in our larger range. But what you do have in here is the maximum power point tracking. Again, the efficiency of the electronics in the controller is the same as our larger systems, and we're running lots of the same software on here, which gives us all the efficiency advantages over our competitors. So what you're getting here is really the same quality, the same knowledge all going into this product. There's a couple of questions about warranty. So we have the same warranty that we would have on our normal products. So this would be 2 years from point of installation, which would be 2 years from point of sale, or 3 years from point of manufacturing. The warranty remains as with our other products. The only thing, of course, that you have to be thoughtful of here is there'll be certain things that aren't warranted. So if it's a manufacturing defect, of course, this is warranted. If the product is being abused, if it's being physically broken, if it's being dropped off of a truck, all the things that you have today, these of course wouldn't be covered by warranty. But warranties remain the same. So it's something you pass that warranty on to your customers, and we would handle in the same way. Okay, we have some questions that I'll answer offline because these are about much larger pumps than this. Of course, this is a very small product. Okay, the others I can answer in the next couple of slides, I think. So let me continue. So let's look at really the key differentiators for this this product. So what we're doing is we're bringing a product here which serves that mass market. It serves the customers that traditionally have not been able to get a Lorentz pump for the different reasons I mentioned, whether it's price, size, their demand for self-install. But what we're bringing is a product to this market that gives still the same quality, gives still the same reliability, gives still the same efficiency as we're known for everywhere. It brings a product along that opens up a new channel for you, so a new channel for you to sell these products. Again, we of course always have avoided online sales and this kind of thing, really to protect our channel across markets. But this is a product that does allow for online sales. So if you see an opportunity for some online sales, then this is something that's quite possible with this product. And again, a quick discussion with your channel manager on that topic, we can make this happen. So we again won't be selling this ourselves. So this is still a via partners product. We won't be selling this ourselves directly, but we really encourage our partners to be also supplying this on a mail order basis if they want to, as long as they have the support mechanisms in place to handle the warranty and returns and things. So as long as you can do that professionally, this is open to you. We see this very strongly as complementing our existing professional channel model. So this product for us is not about going around our channel, or it's about a product that complements what you guys are doing. So this is something that should expand your scope, should allow you to generate more opportunities. As I mentioned, if there's a customer that you can't get to at the moment with a PS150 or a PS600 or a PS1800, because their needs are slightly different, this product may allow you to get to those customers. Good, so I'm open now from that point to any questions. I've got a few more questions about longevity and design and all these things. So yeah, if I answer some questions that have come up. So one question here is about how many years of experience do we have with this product? So the product's been actually in the field for about 2.5 years now. So we've had the product in the field for 2.5 years. But what we must remember here is what we're using is technology that LORENTZ have refined over the last 25 years. So it's not like we've started this from scratch. What we've done is adapted existing technology that we use. And for lots of partners that work with us at the moment, the pump end here has changed material, but the HR14S, the HR7S are products that have been available for 5 or 6 years. We've changed the material. We've obviously gone to a plug system. Again, plug system is quite a difficult thing to do. What we've done is taken the plug system that we use on some of our oil and gas products for the last 10 years, where we have really good experience in difficult environments, and brought it to this product. So although this product is new, actually it's a combination of different things that we have that we've gained long experience over. So this is why we're very confident about the product. The product's been tested really in the harshest conditions. Obviously, most of the conditions that we work in are typically harsh, but we have been testing this in quite large quantities now in sub-Saharan Africa. So we have smallholder farmers using this pump. That's probably the worst conditions you could have for a pump, because often the pumps are taken home at the end of the day. They maybe are in a pond one day, in a river the next day, so they are moved around regularly. Obviously, they have to handle a little bit of dirt in that environment, and the cables get a good test. The product gets a good test for heat, etc. So we're really quite confident about the robustness and reliability of the product. So we have questions about what's the maximum head of the product. So the maximum head of the product would be with the HRO7, which is 40 meters. Actually, we'll do slightly more than 40 meters, but 40 meters should be what you plan for. So again, for such a small pump, that's a good amount of pressure. And of course, this is a helical rotor pump, so it's creating pressure even with very low speed. So it's quite nice. You can run sprinklers from it, for example. So you can run a sprinkler from it, even with relatively low flows. You've got the pressure there. You can run a sprinkler with this product, as well as pumping from wells and obviously to higher elevations. A question is, will we put a centrifugal pump on this? No, we won't. We'll stick with the helical rotors. Again, the reasons for using the HR here are the robustness in use, so it's for handling dirt, etc. The helical rotor's good for this. The HR23 pump end we have for low head applications, I think you saw that can do up to 4 cubic meters an hour. So that's already a pretty high flow, and we are only talking about a 100-watt pump here. So this is the pump we would use. Of course, we have centrifugal pumps up in our range for more water, but this will remain with a helical rotor pump end at the moment. Let me Okay, lots of questions about water quality and things. Yeah, so we're going to release the product to everybody next week, so you'll be able to get all the technical information around the product. We have done lots of testing. The pump is actually designed to be slightly looser than our normal pumps. This does hurt the hydraulic efficiency slightly, but allows much better for two things. One is dirt handling, and the second thing it allows us to do is to handle dry run instances. So you see there is a dry run protection on here, but we also assume that some customers may run it dry with either not connecting dry run or not having a dry run installed correctly. So we designed this to allow for a period of dry running without damage. It won't run indefinitely dry, but for short periods of time it would run dry. So we're trying to make this really robust, assuming that the customers that are self-installing would not be as professional as some of our channel. Yeah, is the one question here about motor cable lengths. So is the motor cable length the same as the head of the pump? The answer to that is no. We are shipping, maybe can just flick on a slide here. So we are shipping as standard with a 15-meter cable. So we ship with a 15-meter cable, but then we have motor extensions. So we have a motor extension, so which is also 15 meters. So you would have 15 meter as standard with the product, because what we've found is not many people are putting the pump more than 15 meters away from a controller. This is really an unusual situation. What's more likely is they've got maybe 15 meters or 10 or 15 meters of static head, and then they're using the rest of the head component for pressurizing into drip irrigation, pressurizing into sprinklers, or simply lifting water up a hill. So shipping always a 40 or 50 meter cable, one, adds a lot of cost, two, adds a lot of weight, and we saw in like 90-something% of applications, people are not using more than 15 meters of motor cable. So if you want to extend the motor cable, this is really easy. You have a motor extension cable here. It's plugged again, and it comes with a very simple waterproof connector. So this slides on and twists. You don't need any tools. You don't need any heat. You don't need any gluing. This is a submersible connection. So if you want to extend the cable, you just set an extension cable, which comes with this waterproof plug. So it makes it very easy and flexible for you as a reseller. You only have to have the items on the shelf. Yeah, the pump itself is a 3.5-inch pump, so it will fit comfortably into any 4-inch well. It's it's slightly smaller than our standard PS2-100 motor. It's slightly narrower. It's for anyone that knows, the HRP name actually is a narrower pump to fit into a slightly smaller well. So this will fit into any 4-inch well comfortably, even if it's rusted up somewhat. And then is the pump on Compass? So the pump, we will be releasing a new version of Compass on Tuesday next week, and you will then be able to see all 3 of the pump variants on Compass. This will be available there for next week. Some other questions around replacement of hand pumps. Yeah, actually, one very interesting thing working with UNICEF and Oxfam teams, we are making some proposals here on using this pump actually with our smart tap water dispenser in a hand pump replacement scenario. So this is this pump will replace any hand pump. It typically will give 3 or 4 times more water per day than a hand pump, but it does this very economically. So typically at the same price as a hand pump, you could install one of these PS2-100. So it's a really good hand pump replacement. Typically installed with a small tank, so you would have a small tank for 24-hour use. And again, optionally then with adding in a smart tap water dispenser so that you can also do revenue collection. And actually on PartnerNet, there is a data sheet that explains this application quite well. Includes information about the pump, the storage, and the smart tap water dispenser. So that's definitely an interesting application for this pump. Yeah, so spare parts, etc. You can use. We have full spare parts available, so you can buy all of the items separately, as with all of our other products. So from a service point of view, the motor cable is easy to replace. So it has 2 Torx screws. So if you get a damaged cable, you literally unscrew it from the motor, pull the motor plug out, and then you can put a new cable in. So this, of course, is a resin cast cable. It's not something you can resolder up. It's a resin cast cable at both ends to keep the waterproofness, of course, but the cables are replaceable. Pump ends are replaceable, motors are replaceable, controllers are replaceable, so you can buy all of the parts individually. One question about using it for sewerage disposal. I wouldn't recommend you use it in that kind of very dirty water application. So again, the pump is really designed for drinking and irrigation water, not for pumping solids. So I would definitely avoid it for use in sewerage applications. Okay. Yeah, so some questions about capabilities and capacities. So again, what I of course showed you is the pump curves earlier, but I also then tried to give you a feeling for the size of the output per day. Yeah, so the examples I gave you there were using a 250 watt module. To be honest, I can't remember the location now, but we can size this in compass, of course. When you're looking then at somewhere between 7 and 14,000 litres per day, depending on the head of the pumps and which pump end you chose. So yeah, there's a lot of flexibility in what you can do with the pump by choosing one of those 3 different pump ends. They are shipped as a kit, as I mentioned. It is possible, of course, to stock some different pump ends if you think you have going to have a mixture. You can buy them as kits at the right pump end, or you could also buy some pump ends separately and swap them. So maybe if your market was a HR14 market, but you had the odd customer asking for a higher head pump, you could just stock the HR14 kits and a few HR07 pump ends. So you can still have that flexibility that you have with all of the LORENTZ pumps at the moment. So that remains even with this small product. Yeah, how much pressure can it provide? So again, remember this is the higher head, the HR07 will do 40 meters. So yeah, actually it will do probably 4.5 bar of pressure. So it's which is what 60 psi roughly. So 60 psi pressure you can get with the HR07, something like that. Good, and the last question's coming in here. Is there any speed control? So there's no speed control on this pump. This is one of the key things I mentioned. We don't have speed control in it. This is one of the things that differentiates the next product range up. Again, I'm not saying never, but that's not in our plans at the moment. Of course, it's something we could bring in. We also need to be thoughtful that the more features we add into this pump is the less differentiators you've got with the next size up, so into the PS150 and other things. So we need to keep some degree of differentiation for you guys, and for making sure that we have products that fit all the different segments. And of course, the more complexity we put into the product for the end customer, the more support calls it creates for you, the more chances of someone doing something wrong are as the product gets more complicated. What we've tried to do here is build something that is really simple and will result in the smallest amount of support calls back to you. Okay, some more. Okay, so the big question, okay, the one that keeps coming up here is on pricing topic. So the product has a list price of around $1,000. Again, partners will get access to that pricing as well next week. So the list price of that is around $1,000. Depends exactly which markets you're in, but just below $1,000 US. Again, depends a little bit on import taxes and other things, but if we think about that, around $1,000 as a list price. Again, this pitches it then very favorably against much poorer quality products. So if we look at, for instance, even well-known brands such as SureFlow, their products in the same size range are as expensive, if not more expensive. The performance of them is terrible. The longevity of them is terrible. So what we're offering here is a very good quality, well-performing product at a price, very, very competitive to those other kinds of products. Of course, we would never ever be the absolute cheapest in the market, but what they are getting is extremely good value for money here for a high-quality professional product. Okay, so we are getting close to our end time. I'm just going to see if there's any last questions that we've missed. Yeah, so questions about other information. So we will we will be issuing all of the information, so all of the technical information, adding it to Compass on our Compass release on Tuesday. All of the user guides, manuals, application guides, etc., will be on PartnerNet as well. So they'll all be released on Tuesday to you. And yeah, it's I think this is really exciting. We have markets where we have already released this or started. The sales have been really good. The feedback from the partners selling it has also been extremely good in terms of they really see this as an opportunity to talk to new people, and they see it as a very quick cash generator. This is a really over-the-counter sale, as I mentioned, not waiting 1 to 3 months to be paid by a customer that you've installed a pump for. So this kind of does change also the ability to do more cash sales or in instant payments for products. And again, still means there's a chance to sell ancillary products, still means there's a chance to engage with the customer for extra services and products. So this doesn't stop your ongoing sale and relationship. Actually, it maybe means you've got some more customers to talk to. So thank you for joining us today. You'll get a link, as I mentioned, with a recording of this webinar. So please feel free to share this with your colleagues. If you have any questions about the products, first contact should be your channel manager. So if you've got any questions about availability, minimum order quantities, etc. We are really trying to keep the prices of this product down, so are looking to sell pallet level orders. So that's 40 units onto one standard Euro pallet, so 40 at a time. I know some of the channel managers are offering split pallets for first orders, so kind of half pallets between two partners, etc. For our partners in the US, for instance, the local our local US office are also offering to split pallets and things for first orders. So we're not forcing everyone to buy 40 on their first order, but also we're seeing partners already on buying multiple pallets. So the products are moving quite quickly. So yeah, need to talk to your channel manager about the order quantities. We will definitely move up to that MOQ of 40 though quite quickly. So particularly countries with single distribution partners, that's the plan. So as I mentioned, everything will be available to you from Tuesday next week, from the 7th. We will be having another webinar on Monday, which is introducing a new HRE product range. So if any of you are interested, there'll be an announcement on that later today to sign up. And next Thursday, we'll be doing a webinar which will be talking about the solarizing of existing pump systems. So this is a really interesting topic in many countries. Again, going back to my comment earlier about everyone learning themselves on YouTube and becoming an expert, sometimes people trying to solarize their existing AC pumps by using off-the-shelf modules and inverters. So we want to talk about that topic next Thursday, and really talk about why it's usually not a good idea to solarize your existing pump. So we're going to have a webinar on that topic with I think Kai and myself on Thursday. So thanks for joining today, and hope to catch you on the next webinar. Thank you.